What if Sarah survived in TellTale's The Walking Dead Season 4? This is actually part 2, so if you missed part 1, go watch that. If you watch part 1, you'll know that this doesn't really work because we had her stay in Richmond. So we'll just retcon the ending, so that way instead of declining to go with Clementine, she decides to go. Pretty easy. She'll say she missed being with Clementine and she's sorry for ever staying with the New Frontier. That leads us into Season 4, Episode 1. Done running. Sarah will be in the passenger seat of the car while Clementine drives. AJ complains about being hungry and Sarah says she is hungry too. Sarah will find the chip bag and now you have the option to split the rest of the chips 3 ways. Between all of them, just between Sarah and AJ, or just AJ. If Sarah doesn't get chips, she isn't mad or anything, but she's sad. The 3 stumble across the train station and Sarah follows behind but doesn't help with any combat. I didn't elaborate in my last video, but I don't bring up the slight gun training that happens in Season 2, because I think Sarah was a bit too far gone to benefit from it. Sarah to me comes across as obviously slightly different than normal, so I don't think it's as simple as just training her or showing her the real world. I don't think that just because Carlos sheltered her, that's all of what the problem is. I think if it happens, it helps, but she doesn't magically just become John Wick. Whenever Clementine reminds AJ of the rules, Sarah will back her up. Whenever they find the Walker couple inside, Sarah will be shocked and go sit in the corner for a bit. Mirroring what happens in the next episode whenever AJ gets mad, AJ will go over and tell Sarah when she's scared to stop and breathe. This causes Sarah to calm down a bit, but still keeps her distance from the Walker couple. Sarah will be on the side of keeping the couple alive, saying she guesses it's not that scary since they're tied up. Either way, Sarah won't really care which decision you make, so the 3 make it inside of the locked room. When AJ finds bullets for his revolver, Sarah seems slightly nervous and asks if AJ is sure he still wants to use that. Which AJ reiterates, he wants to. Clementine finds the trapdoor of food when the grenade goes off and Sarah stands in fear while Clementine dives for AJ. Clementine and AJ are safe, but they go back inside the room and find Sarah with a small piece of shrapnel in her head. With the walkers closing in, they both pick up her body and start to carry her out to the car and barely make it, because plot armor. The car crash still happens. Clementine wakes up and finds Sarah on the bed on the other side of the room, still unconscious, but it seems that her head has been treated. The next little bit happens about the same, but Marlon and the kids might ask about Sarah, Clementine being able to talk about her a little bit or staying silent. If Clementine talks about her, I'll imagine she brings up how she's an adult technically, but she doesn't act like it and she's different. During the card game, Sarah and Ruby will walk out of the school together, while Clementine and AJ are walking away from the table after Louis' question. Sarah will tell Clementine that Ruby seems nice and ask where Clementine is going, which she responds back to the room. Sarah will opt to go with Clementine, telling Ruby she'll talk to her later. Sarah will be talking with Clementine in the room, asking about all of the kids and asking if they're as nice as Ruby. The game will now cycle through every single character that you've met so far, with you being able to give your opinion on them or staying silent. I think this is a fun mechanic because Telltale has admitted they track every single dialogue option, so this would be a fun thing to track how players feel. Violet will come in and ask about the coloring supplies, and whatever Clementine just said about Violet, AJ will repeat now, causing an awkward encounter if you said something bad. It also shows that AJ is always listening. Either way though, Violet will choose to open up to you a bit about Minnie and Sophie. Sarah will say they sound cool and ask when she can meet them, which makes Violet sad and explains how they disappeared. If Clementine said something bad about Violet, Violet will say she feels harsh sometimes, but apparently so are others, and gives you a glare. You have the option to backtrack and say something nice, or if you said something nice to begin with, you can reiterate being nice. Whenever AJ climbs underneath the bunk bed, Sarah will step in and coax AJ into sleeping on an actual bed, showing that she actually is teaching AJ a bit and not leaving all of it to Clementine. In the morning, they will go to see if Marlon will let them stay, and Sarah says she hopes they do because she really likes Ruby. They find Ten playing with toys, and Sarah and Ten immediately become pals. Whenever AJ takes Ten's toy, Sarah will say to give it back, but it's still up to Clementine. Rosie will come in, and Sarah will hide behind Clementine. Even though she doesn't have the trauma about it, she did see Clementine's bite right after it happened, so she's still scared. Marlon comes in and stops it. If Clementine doesn't pet Rosie, then Sarah will, and after Sarah is done, you will get another chance to pet Rosie after seeing them interact, but you can still choose to decline again. When Marlon explains the story of the school, Sarah says that's scary and she wouldn't have been able to handle it, which causes Marlon to give her a weird look. Marlon will come up with a plan, and you can go with Lewis or Violet to go do the chores, but before you leave, Marlon will ask for a moment alone with Clementine, causing AJ and Sarah to go out the door and find 10. Marlon will ask if Sarah's okay from her head injury, and Clementine will just say, yeah? Why? Marlon will say she seems weird, and Clementine will just explain that's how she is, and Marlon nods. Whichever chore Clementine goes to do, Sarah goes with her. If Clementine goes with Lewis in a sim, then initially Sarah will think that Lewis is funny, but whenever he does the Walker Pinata, Sarah will storm off with the sim, thinking the Walker shouldn't be played with. When the group finds the bunny, Sarah thinks they should release it, saying it's cute. If they go with Brody and Violet, then Sarah says she doesn't want to go on a road trip, she likes being safe in the school. Either way, the groups either find the fishing shack messed with or the traps messed with a Bible cigarette nearby, so Brody starts freaking out. Sarah attempts to help Brody, saying she just needs to breathe and she'll calm down, but Brody takes this as sarcasm and get mad at Sarah and storm off. The groups decide they need food, so they go to the train station. While deciding the plan, Sarah will say she can keep lookout with Violet, which Violet begrudgingly agrees to. This leaves the interaction with Abel inside the same, so the group either gets all or some of the food and leaves. The group makes it back to the school and shows the group the food. Sarah attempts to apologize to Brody, but Brody gets hung up on where the food came from, and that whole argument starts with her storming off after pushing Marlon. Everybody ends up leaving except for 10, where 10 will show off his drawings and thoughts about the walkers. Sarah thinks this is really cool and asks if 10 can draw her dad, which prompts 10 to say he doesn't know what he looks like, which makes Sarah sad. 10 offers for Sarah to draw him, which excites Sarah, so she draws her and Carlos next to each other. If Clementine says not to draw her in, this makes Sarah sad. The three wake up in the middle of the night to the arguing noises in the basement, and Sarah opts to keep an eye on AJ while Clementine goes to check it out. Clementine finds Brody and Marlon's plan, and Brody dies, and Clementine escapes to find the whole group of kids in the courtyard where Marlon is lying about Clementine killing Brody. In the courtyard, Sarah will be frozen in fear while AJ points a gun around at Marlon. Essentially, the whole thing plays out about the same, with Sarah frozen still and Marlon getting shot by AJ. And that leads us into Season 4, Episode 2. I forget the name of it. Suffer the Children. In the aftermath of AJ shooting Marlon, AJ will look to Sarah for help, but Sarah will look away dejected after AJ just killed someone. In the present, Sarah is sitting on the bed opposite of them, staying quiet. AJ will ask Sarah point blank if she thinks he's a monster. She will get quiet before shaking her head, and said Marlon was a bad man, like Carver. Clementine can agree with this or say Marlon was different, even if he wasn't perfect. The three go to the funeral. Whenever AJ says whatever Clementine said to him about it, Sarah will also speak up and say Marlon was a bad man if Clementine agreed. The three will go back to the room after being told a vote will take place. AJ gets mad and Sarah will be the one who tells AJ to breathe to calm down now, mirroring how AJ helped her last episode. The three get told they have to leave. Sarah will say that AJ should give the gun to Lewis, but it's still up to Clementine. In the woods, Lewis will keep pushing and eventually Sarah will snap slightly, not getting up close but yelling at Lewis, saying that he doesn't understand what it's like, and that he's just a big jerk. Lewis will shut up and the groups will separate. They run into Abel in the woods before Clem gets held at gunpoint. Sarah and AJ get pushed to the ground afterwards as well. Eventually, the girl holding this happens every video. Eventually, the girl holding Clem at gunpoint is revealed as Lily. This conversation happens about the same, as obviously Lily and Sarah don't know each other. Maybe since Sarah has started a bit of a rebellious arc from her standards, she'll call Lily a jerk or something for kidnapping kids. Eventually, the three will start running after Violet and Lewis return, and Sarah will be the one who gets shot instead of AJ. This is a punishment for her finally growing somewhat of a backbone. Sarah will keep running for now, as if the GOAT 5-year-old AJ can sprint like he does, then Sarah the GOAT runner as established last episode can keep running. They eventually get surrounded by walkers before getting saved by James. James will help Clem get the bullets out of Sarah, and Clementine now has the choice to let AJ help take the bullets out or tell him to stay away. Just another choice of sheltering him or not. Sarah, though, I think would be yelling instead of staying quiet like AJ, so after a moment you have the choice to tell AJ to kill the walkers while you work or tell James to go distract them. Obviously this makes James happy or not. Eventually Sarah gets as patched up as she can while Clem and AJ talk to James by the fire. Sarah will really like James and his approach of not killing. The four will now head back to the school and be let back in by Lewis, except for James, who leaves. I know it's not quite as insane as AJ getting shot, but I think the school would still let Sarah back in because she was relatively well liked by most of the students, like Violet, Asim, Ten, and Ruby. And even those who weren't friends with her didn't like super hate her or anything. When Ruby starts to help Sarah, Ruby will smile and tell Sarah she needs to be more careful. When Violet talks to Clementine, AJ will stay with Sarah. Mitch will come in and still be angry as he never bonded with Sarah over anything, so Clem and Mitch get sent to the greenhouse with Ruby. AJ comes too now as he's not hurt. This happens about the same. The main difference is that AJ now watches how you deal with the nurse, which helps shape his personality at the end. Back in the room at night, Sarah is sleeping on the bed while Clem and AJ watch over her. AJ asks if she's going to be okay, and Clementine can give an optimistic or pessimistic outlook on it. Because Lewis doesn't have a reason to bring AJ shirts, he doesn't show up at all tonight, and that conversation is just replaced by Clem and AJ talking. And maybe AJ asked Clementine about something, implying that the kids were okay with letting them stay that they learned earlier, I don't know. The 2-week time skip then happens. Clementine has her nightmare and wakes up to AJ sitting on the desk and Sarah sitting up looking at him. Sarah tells AJ that staying up forever is impossible and that sleeping is fun. The three go out in the courtyard in the morning. Sarah will wander off saying she's going to find Ruby. This means most of the preparations happen the same. Lewis will start with the truth or dare, and if Asim gets dared to ask Ruby for a kiss, then Sarah will be by Ruby when it happens. She'll be shocked when Ruby slaps Asim, apologizing to Asim for Ruby. Clem will then go have her moments with either Lewis or Violet. Afterwards, Clem and AJ will spot the raiders getting ready to raid, and Sarah will be with the students when they warn them. The fight breaks out after Omar gets shot in the leg and everybody hides, Sarah going with 10. Whenever 10 tries to go out after being baited with Minnie and Sophie, Sarah will successfully stop him. Because of this, Mitch survives because he doesn't rush out to attempt to save 10. While escaping though, Mitch does end up getting kidnapped when Asim and Omar do. But because Sarah was with 10 when all of this happened, it means Sarah is safe for now. And that leads us into Season 4, Episode 3, Broken Toys. At the beginning of the episode, Sarah will be helping Ruby dig. Willie will still be upset at Mitch getting captured, but more angry than sad, but he blames Sarah more than 10 for being so fearful. Which is ironic considering technically Sarah saved Mitch in this timeline. Sarah will opt out of torturing Abel, for obvious reasons. And sadly, I would love for Sarah to go scout the boat so she can go hang out with James afterward. Because I think that they have a really good bond. But I think it's far more realistic for Sarah to stay behind at the school here, especially since the two people she's closest with besides Clementine is Ruby and 10, who are staying at the school. So the scouting of the boat and recruitment of James happens about the same. When Clem and AJ come back, Ruby asks about James and Sarah's with Ruby. Sarah will ask after James, and Clementine will tell her about this theory about people still being in walkers. Sarah says that's a nice thought, maybe her dad is still out there near House Hardware wandering around. Because, I mean, technically it's unconfirmed if Carlos is still a walker or not, because we never see him get put down. Sarah will go with Ruby to help prepare for the party, letting Clementine hang out with AJ and Violet/Lewis for a bit. Afterward, they'll all head to the party to keep getting it ready. Sarah will be visibly excited at the party coming together. Whenever you get asked to pick the color theme of your party, you now have the new option of letting Sarah choose. Which she picks red because of her glasses. I only did this because I want to address the massive plot hole which is Sarah's glasses. I know it's amazing they haven't been broken anymore over the years, but like, what am I supposed to do? Make her go find an eyeglasses store? Like, there's no eye doctors. When they start playing the game of guessing whose record is whose, Sarah will be shocked at Ruby, saying she seems so nice. That's like a tongue tester. Tongue tester? Oh my god, what is wrong with me today? When Willie makes his masturbation joke, Ruby will tell him to stop, that Sarah probably doesn't even know what that means. Sarah will say yes she does because she reads. This prompts Clementine to tell her to shut up before AJ asks her any more about it. Sarah will tear up at Violet singing / Lewis playing piano, and tell 10 afterward that Sophie and Minnie seem like they would be nice. Clementine will have her Lee dream, where Lee will praise Clementine for keeping Sarah alive for so long with AJ, saying it must not be easy with how she is. The group will now all be outside the boat getting ready for the plan. Sarah will tell James that he looks way cuter without the walker mask on, which makes James uncomfortable. James will still have his talk about AJ with Clementine, but state that he feels he's in good hands with Sarah, that she seems to have a good heart. Now that it's time for the actual plan itself, Sarah will be told to go with Willie and 10 to go through the supplies. Sarah will tell AJ and Clementine to be careful and that she loves them. She says that if anything happens to her, that she'll make sure AJ is well taken care of. When they all get dressed up in walker guts, Sarah will look grossed out and walk off. Essentially, everything on the boat goes about the same up until the cell sequence. where Mitch is also in the cells. He's angry and pushing everyone's buttons until either Lewis or Violet tells him to shut up, whichever one didn't get captured. But because he's locked in a cage, not much else happens. On the top deck, it's revealed that Sarah got caught at the same time that 10 did. 10 will take the gun and aim it and have it pressed against Lily's head, and suddenly Sarah will blurt out, "Do it!" But 10 still doesn't, and James exclaims, "What?" in shock. Lily laughs and calls her a pushover before literally pushing her over and aiming the gun at her. This is when Clementine now attacks. AJ manages to either kill/spare Lily and causing James to die or not. This leads us into Season 4, Episode 4. Take us back. Clementine wakes up to Sarah already on the side of the boat, trying to convince AJ to fall down to her. Clementine gets over there and AJ drops down in time, but then Clementine falls down in the side boat, leaving Sarah and AJ to find their own way down. The three get down, and if Lily is still alive, she leaves. The group of students all find each other, and once again, as much as I think it would be fun to write Sarah to come with us, I think it's more realistic that Sarah goes with the rest of the students back to the school, leaving Clem, AJ, and 10, and possibly James to go through the cave. If James is still alive, I think he would still attempt to take AJ before going away because of Sarah's outburst at Lily last episode. Whenever Violet/Lewis come back after the cave, I do think Sarah would come back here because she'd be looking for 10 as well as Clem and AJ. While on the walk back through the woods, Sarah will talk to Clementine about the boat, asking if she thinks she's a bad person because she wanted Lily to die. And you can answer how you'd like, either comforting her, staying neutral, or saying she didn't deserve to die. She'll also either say she's sorry that James died if he did, or ask after James if he lived, and be saddened about him separating. Asking Clementine if she thinks it's because of her, which once again you can say yes or no. The group makes it to the bridge where Minnie shows up like the mouse she is. Whenever 10 stands up, Sarah will attempt to stop him and get shot by Minnie in the arm and cry out and duck behind cover. While Clem and Minnie fight, Sarah gets across when AJ does with the help of Lewis/Violet. If AJ shoots 10, Sarah will be shocked but tell AJ she's ready to accept that some people might have to die. If AJ doesn't shoot 10 and Violet/Lewis die, Sarah will tell AJ that she understands and she probably couldn't have done it either. Lewis/Violet/10 will get separated and Sarah/Clem/AJ will start to climb the wall. Even with Sarah here, her arm is hurt and she's also Sarah, so I'd say Clementine still gets bit, unfortunately. Sarah will start to freak out, but Clem will calm her down with the breathing technique. The three find the barn and it will be about the same, except it will be slightly easier with Sarah helping barricade the barn. Sarah will attempt to help Clem up, but with her hurt arm, she won't be able to do much, and they all realize this is it for Clem. Clem will have her emotional talks and tell the two they have to cover up and walk her guts, and Sarah will be grossed out but not joke about it like usual and just do it. AJ will then kill Clementine and we go back to the McCarroll Ranch flashback. In the flashback, Sarah will be with Clementine, but will be hiding behind Clementine during most of it because this is still the Sarah who is terrified of everything. Eventually, the two find AJ after much bloodshed, which it's revealed that the breathe technique that Clementine used originates here with Sarah, because she kept freaking out whenever people would die. The three then leave in the car. Back in the present, AJ will have his moments in the woods still before going back to the school and finding Clementine with her chopped off leg. After getting pushed on the swing, but before they eat, Sarah will change the bandages on Clementine's leg. Clem asks if it's necessary and Sarah says no, but she wants her to be comfortable. The three then go to eat. After they eat, the three sit down on the front of the school and Clem spills her heart out about just wanting to protect AJ. Sarah apologizes for not being there as much as she should have for Clem and hopes she can make up for it now. Afterwards, they all go out for some more gun training, and if Clem did train Sarah in Season 2, there will be a callback of what she said there a bit.